Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. Knicks recap. Knicks beat Philadelphia last night. What was that? 99 to, I want to say 112, something like that. Knicks are now 5-5 on the season. Given the first 10 games, or at least how tough we thought it was going to be when we did the schedule review prior to the season, given the changes, given the chemistry that's getting better but not quite there yet, and the injuries that we've had, I would have to say that I'll take it. I know there were some who thought we would be 8-2, 7-3, but given all that's happened, 5-5 over the first 10 is something I'll take. I'm going to give you my overall thoughts of the game. I'm going to talk about a few players, highlight a few players from last night. I'm going to talk about probably a take that um, many may not agree with, and that is that if the Knicks are to win a championship, whatever their championship hopes and aspirations are, they start and end with Karl Anthony Towns at the center position, and I'll talk more about that later on in the show. I hope I'll take a few comments as well, and I hope to do all of this in under 30 minutes. So let's get into it. Last night I liked the fight in the Knicks. Philly was not at their best. Embiid, his first game back for the season, he definitely wasn't at his best. But in all honesty, neither are the Knicks. We can talk about the talent that they've amassed, but as far as being a good team that's gelled and have chemistry and continuity, they're not there yet, right? So um, I don't know if there was some who thought the Knicks should have blew Philly out or thought that we should have been up by more. Again, when you have a team who hasn't gelled yet, you're going to get games like this, regardless if you have more talent than the other team. It's going to be a battle. And last night we just weren't able to shake the Philadelphia 76ers. But I like that the Knicks never gave up. They were active on defense. They held Philadelphia to under 100 points, 37% from the field, 33% from the three-point line. They got timely shooting, particularly from Miles McBride when they were making, runs to kind of close the gap and get back in the game. It seemed like I'd have to watch it over, but it seemed like Miles McBride always hit a timely shot. And kudos for him. The Knicks were plus 24 in the paint with 54 paint points, 13 second chance points. Though I don't think second chance points is gonna be a prominent stat for the Knicks like it was last season. Like if we're able to get second chance points and offensive rebound, I think that's great. But I don't think that's part of the formula for the Knicks winning games. Not on this particular team. I think that's a change um, from last year. The Knicks out-rebounded Philadelphia, and in fact, since the Atlanta game, the Knicks have out-rebounded the past three opponents. Over the last three games, the Knicks are ninth in total rebounds, I believe eighth in defensive, and eighth in defensive rebounds. And you're going to need that. You can win a championship, and I know there's some who don't think this is a championship contending team. I get it. But if you have aspirations of winning a championship, you have to rebound the basketball. You have to rebound. Like that's one of the stats that concerned me with this Knick team. But over the last three games, they're ninth in the league in total rebound. So they are trending in the right direction as far as that's concerned. Cam was back. Campaign was back. We had a Matt Ryan sighting, right? Sims got his regular 9-10 minutes. So, we played 9 guys last night, and the Knicks looked fresh in the fourth quarter. They had a lot of fight. Now, whether that was because of less minutes, whether that was because, this was the Philadelphia 76ers, whether this was because they didn't want to become 2 games under 500, whatever it was, the energy was there last night in the fourth quarter, and guys still played um, significant minutes. OG Anunoby played 40 minutes. Josh Hart 37 minutes. Karl Anthony Towns played 38 minutes. Mikal and Jalen were under 35, and Miles McBride got 20. So they some of them still played um, a lot of minutes. Did I say Hart? Yeah, Hart with 37 minutes. The Knicks were able to win despite Brunson's struggle. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, but just 33% overall, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. He did go to the line 8 times. He made all 8, but he had 6 turnovers. It was not Jalen Brunson's best game. But I think we got a glimpse of what this team can be. We got a glimpse of the depth of this team, that you can survive Brunson playing the way he did, turning the ball over 6 times, not shooting well. We were able to survive because OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges have more in their offensive tank, so to speak, than we're asking them to bring on a nightly basis. So if Towns is ever off, if Brunson is ever off, like they can dig, they have more to give, right? So that's something that I like about this team. OG Anunoby last night was phenomenal. Okay, I get it. I get it. Paul George had, I don't know, 568 points in the first half. I thought a lot of those OG was right there, and Paul George just made a hell of a play, a hell of a shot. He's a hell of a player, and that happens sometimes. But OG Anunoby is playing on as high a level as I've seen from him in a very long time, and it's just really good to see it up close. Unlike any other Nick on this team, he's taking advantage of Cat's presence. Cat is pulling that center out to the 3-point line and beyond, right? There's a lot of space in the key for the Knicks to get more rim shots at the rim, more of those opportunities, to convert more of those opportunities because the rim protector is not there. And OG Anunoby is taking advantage of that big time. Whether he's driving right into the key for the dunk, whether he's cutting, whether he's ducking in for a post up and shooting it right over the rim, he is taking advantage of the space that Cat is providing, and that opportunity is there for more of the Knicks to take advantage of. So hopefully, that will happen. He's scoring more than I thought he would score to start the season. He's scoring on all 3 levels, whether it's the 3-point shot, whether it's the mid-range shot, whether it's at the rim. Now I've yet to look at the stats and see what his percentages are in those areas, but he's definitely taken advantage of it. And you could just see how he's grown offensively. Hart, triple double, fadeaway shots. What can I say? Like, he's just been phenomenal for us. I know there's talk about him going to the bench when Precious goes back. And I've been on and off board with that, throughout the first 10 games. Um, I just think he's a net positive where he's at. Sure, there are games when, there are taller guys, there are bigger guys, and maybe they have the advantage. But I just think overall, 82 game season, you're gonna have a net advantage with Josh Hart at in that starting lineup. Now, this is from the eye test. I haven't looked at the numbers as far as the on-off numbers, but I would bet my house that the Knicks are a better team with Josh Hart on the floor. Just really love what he's doing for us. And the shot was falling last night. The fadeaways, just the confidence in which he was playing. The Knicks had 12 fast break points. He probably had 10 of them. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I just love the way he plays for us. He was good. He was great for us last night. And again, this is in no particular order. Miles McBride, man, oh man, like I talked about in the opening, in the intro, just the timely shots. Like, you can look at a stat sheet at the end of the night and see somebody have 15 points, they had 18 points, they had 32 points, and say, wow, that guy really had a good night. But when you're watching the game and you see when they hit those shots, it makes a difference. Like you can, if you look back to the games in which we lost in the fourth quarter, and yeah, the Knicks may have been tired, but we didn't get any timely shots, to try to get back in the game, or when we had the lead and the other team was making shots and closing the gap on the lead. You need those timely shots that kind of keep the team at bay. And we weren't able to get that from Atlanta and a few other teams. We weren't able to get that against in the fourth quarter, but we got that last night. And Miles McBride was um, a big part of it. And just kudos that the team really trusts him. They look for him in those spots. If he's open, they don't look at him and pass it the other way. And I've seen that on prior teams. They pass it to him because they're confident, and that's because he's hitting those shots, right? It's easy to have confidence in somebody who's shooting the ball well. Before I get to Towns, I just want to talk a little bit about Sims and Bridges. I think Sims has looked good to me from the eye test the last few games. Um, Statistically speaking, and I got this stat from KFS, so I'm pretty sure it's legit. They do good work over there. That the Knicks are better defensively with Sims on the floor. So however it may look, and he may look like a deer in headlights. He doesn't know what he's doing, and um, we should put in Huck Porty, and we can't wait for Mitch to get back. The Knicks are better defensively when Sims is on the floor for those 9 or 10 minutes um, that he's on the floor. So kudos to him. It didn't look that way, at least to me, but over the past few games, it has. It has. Bridges looked good last night, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He looked good defensively, but he also didn't have to chase a small dynamic guard all last night, right? They started Lowry. The rookie got some time, and he looked really good. But I thought Bridges was good defensively. And I think the issue with Bridges at the point of attack I don't think it's his one-on-one defense as much as it is the difficulty he's having getting over screens. He's just not doing a good job staying attached or catching up from behind when he is picked off. Given his long wingspan, it just hasn't been good. So I think if he could do a better job on that, his point of attack defense would be a bit better. But let me get into Towns, how he played last night, and like I said in the intro, why I feel that the Knicks championship aspirations hinge on Karl Anthony Towns playing the center um, position. 10 points in the first quarter. Just letting you know off the rip, I'm here. He had 7 points in the fourth quarter. So 17 of his 21 points was in the first and the fourth quarter. 6 assists. I knew he was a good passer. There's been times in his career in which he's averaged, I think twice, almost 5 assists a game, but it's just better than I thought. Better seeing it up close. Like it's one thing to have a center that's drawing you out to the 3-point line. It's another thing to have a center who can now take advantage of that space. Like if there's cutters, you have a center who can actually hit a cutter. So it just really opens things up for us offensively. And I thought his defense was much better last night. Now, Embiid was a shell of himself, right? But still, I liked the physicality of Towns on him. He seemed up for the matchup. He seemed engaged, and that's always the case with him and Embiid anyway. So I don't expect that to change even when Embiid is healthy. But I definitely thought he was more engaged on the defensive end last night. So now I want to get into why I think if the Knicks are going to win a championship, it's going to be with Cat at the 5. And I think that starts with the fact that, in my opinion, the Knicks have no, and I mean absolutely no advantage with Cat at the 4. Playing with a center who doesn't draw the defense out of the paint. Like if he's playing with another center who's similar to himself, I mean that's a different story. But if he's playing with a center who doesn't draw the defense out of the paint, what what was the reason of trading for him then? We could have stayed with what we have. Sure, if you have a defensive center and you have Cat at the 4, you're going to be better defensively, and you'll win games in the regular season, no doubt about it. But in a playoff series, as a team, you are easier to defend with Cat at the 4. You're just easier to defend. Like you're helping the other team when you put him at the 4 full time. Like I'm not talking about playing minutes at the 4 or playing with a defensive center at the 4 some of the time. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about moving Cat to the 4 full time, right? So with Cat at center, you know, because of his skill set, you're opening up driving lanes, you're opening up cutting lanes, you're opening up passing lanes. All of that is open with Cat at the 5. And that all shuts down with him at the 4 if you don't have a 5 who can stretch it. Now, I hear what you're saying. You can have a great offense. If your defense is 30th in the league, you're not winning a championship at all. I'm not arguing with that. I agree. But I think what the Knicks are banking on is that they can have a top 5 offense and they can have at least a middling defense, like a defense in the 12 to 15 range in the league, right? That's going to give you an opportunity to win it all. In my opinion, having a top 5 defense and a 15 or 16 offense with with your with no space in the key to take advantage of the cutters that you have, to me, that's not a formula for winning a championship. It's just not. Like I said, sometime at the 4, I do like that versatility for the Knicks, right? But full time at the 4, if the Knicks decide that they're gonna play Karl Anthony Towns at the 4 full time, they're basically waving the white flag and acknowledging that they made a mistake trading for him. You knew who he was when you traded for him. You knew he wasn't a great defender. You knew he wasn't a great rim protector. But you thought that the offense would be that much better, would be playoff. You would have a playoff offense. And by that I mean an offense where teams would have to choose, an offense where it wasn't easy for them to take away a player, or it wasn't easy for them to take away the paint, right? Offense where they were going to have to choose what they were going to take away. That's what you were banking on when you traded for Cat. And you were banking on that you would be able to put at least a league average defense around him. Or I don't know if they thought this, or that he would become a better or at least an average defender. You were banking on that, right? So if now you're changing it up and you're saying, listen, we're gonna play him full time at the 4, basically you're waving the white flag on the trade, right? So I might be on an island by myself. I don't think that I am, but I think offensively the Knicks have a team, and the Knicks have yet to take full advantage of the offense. This offense is not clicking just yet. Like I said earlier, they're not taking full advantage of the space they have in the key other than OG and Anunoby, right? The two-man game between Brunson and Cat, that's not humming along either, right? There's games in which the ball movement is there. I'd like to see a bit more player movement, right? But as time goes on and you get that player movement, you get that ball movement, you get cutters in the key, it's going to be extremely difficult for teams to stop the Knicks defense. It's not even humming right now. And I believe they're top, you know, they are top 5 in the league, and it's not even humming. But that defense has to pick it up. Or, like I said earlier, regardless of your offense, it's just not going to work. Right now, over the past 3 games, the Knicks are 12th in the league in defense, at least defensive rating, points allowed per 100 possessions. Now, if they could keep it at 12 and you got a top 3 offense, you have a formula for winning the championship. You got a defense that's 16, 17, 18, 22. It's not happening. It's not happening. But I feel good about the Knicks defense getting better over time. Like, I feel more comfortable with that formula, top 3 offense, a 12 defense, 12 to 15 defense, than I do about a top 5 defense and an offense where in the playoffs, teams are going to be you're going to be easier to guard, because they can take their defender and the center, who's ever defending the center, and that defender can just roam, double team, roam, um, you know, just play the field, so to speak. So again, I'll stand on this. If the Knicks are going to win a championship, their best shot is with Karl Anthony Towns at the 5 and a top 15 defense. And there's no reason why this team can't be a top 12, top 15 defense. No reason why. All right. Before I check in with the chat, the Knicks are home for their next 4. They play Chicago tonight. Then they got 2 in Brooklyn. 2 against Brooklyn at MSG. I believe that's Friday and Sunday. And then Monday against the Washington Wizards. So, it's easy to say that the Knicks should go 4-0. I will say that the Knicks can go 4-0. Just keeping in mind that as talented as this team is, like I said in the intro, they haven't gelled yet. And so when you haven't really gelled yet, you can't take it for granted. You can't just be like, oh, well, we're the most talented team, we should win. No, you got to actually show up, um, and put and play well offensively and defensively. I mean, that's obvious. But my point is, because of the injury, the chemistry issues, it's not always smooth with these Knicks. They look good one game, you think they turned the corner, and then the next game, bam, they look like they just got together, and I think that's the way it's going to be for a while. So can they go 4-0? Yes, they can, but it's not a gimme. Let me check in with the chat real quick before I am out of here. Salute to Divine Knicks Real Talk. Be sure to check them out. They go live maybe an hour, maybe even an hour and a half before each game. But if you're subscribed to Knicks Real Talk in the channel, you got that notification on, then when they go on. Big up to OG, playing great basketball, playing both ends. Divine, is he showing more offense than you thought he would? Like, I thought he would be the 4th option, not necessarily because he can't score. I just felt like his role would be so focused on the defensive end that he wouldn't get those shots. But he's been super aggressive, super assertive, in looking for his shots, and he's not passing up those 3-point shots. Even when the guy is in his face and it doesn't look like he has a lot of room, he's pulling. Like, that's the confidence that I'm seeing from OG, and I love it. OG gets respect, doing work. Yeah, bag deeper than I thought. All three levels. At the rim, posting up, mid-range, three-pointer. Um, yeah, just really doing a good job. East Blue Drew, they are still figuring it out. And that's why I'm saying there's gonna be games in which they look great. And during those games when they look great, to me, that just shows the potential. Like they may not be able to do that every night right now, but it shows the potential um of the team. And if the defense comes along, we're gonna be um, all right. Shout out to my holy king from Brooklyn. I appreciate you stopping by. D Nice 77. I'm less concerned with Cat's defense and more with Bridges. Do you think I was listening to a few podcasts? KFS was one, but I was listening to another one. Two guys. Oh man, I forget, but really really talented. Really love their podcast. The name escapes me, and but both have brought up the point. Is it really his one-on-one defense or is it his screen navigation? And in hindsight, after hearing that, I think it's his screen navigation. Like he just doesn't navigate those screens well enough. Now, is that his size? He's 6'6". He's guarding guys 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", like he's guarding the point of attack. Maybe that's it. Um, but you look back at Dyson Daniels, right? When we played Atlanta, he's 6'6", and he negotiates the screens very well. Um, So, maybe he'll get better at it, but I think it's more that. Yes, yes, yes. Jam session. Hot hand theory is the podcast. Yes. Give them a listen. Give them a listen. I really, really love um listening to them. Appreciate you, Jam Session. Those are the two guys. Love them. All right, let's see. Peterson, I think Precious at the 4 starting makes the most sense. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Wayne Patterson again. I'm cool with Sims playing. Hulk will get his shot at some point. I believe he will. I think he has a higher ceiling than Sims. So if it's not this year, as time goes on, I think you're right. Salute to Jerrell. Appreciate you stopping by. Wiz BK, what a roller coaster ride so far. I hope this is not the way the season will be. I'm not sure when the ship will be righted, Wiz. Um, but I'm with you. It has been like the game. When was it? The Indiana game. I was like, wow, the Knicks is looking really. And after that, we was like 1-3, I believe it was, or something like that. So it is a roller coaster ride. And I think it's going to be like that for a little bit. Even after the showing last night, I still wouldn't be surprised if there's um, growing pains. Kevin Bergen, shout out to the chat. Definitely shout out to the chat. Uh, to the chat. We definitely are a championship contender. No team in the East is head and shoulders better than us. Somebody made the distinction. I'm not sure where I heard this, that the Knicks have a championship talent, but may not have gelled into a championship team yet. I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay with that, with that framing. Um, Again, I just think it's just a matter of time. Efren Lopez, the way Sims played last night is what Tibbs must be seeing in practice. If he can repeat that, he'll be fine as our third center. Yeah, I've noticed it over the last few games. His activity is up. The rebounding is better. They still don't trust him though. I forgot who it was. Threw a pass right over. He was right underneath the basket. They threw it right over his head to somebody in the corner for 3. It's like, what was that? Um, so let's see. Maybe that'll get better. Embiid, Rusty, and Maxi didn't play too easy for the Knicks. Listen, the Knicks got issues of their own. The Knicks have issues of their own. And the Knicks pulled away late. I think it was just a 4-point lead at the half, and that was with Hart hitting a fadeaway 2-point shot, right? Otherwise, it would have been, 2. East Blue Drew, I feel when we beat a contender like Cavs and Boston OKC, people will calm down. You might be right. You might be right. Jam session, it's tier 1 Boston, tier 2 Knicks and Cavs, tier 3 Indy and Orlando. Then it's everybody else. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good. I don't know if I can argue with that. Salute, coach. Appreciate you stopping by. All right. That's all I have for today. I'm gonna do my best to be back tomorrow on my lunch break and break down this game tonight against who is that again? The Chicago Bulls, right? Levine has been dealing with some sort of injury, so he may or may not play. But again, they're a team that I don't think there's been a lot of turnover. So they have the chemistry, they have the continuity. I mean, you can argue that Levine missed most of the season last year, so maybe they'll have some chemistry injuries. I haven't really seen it. I've watched them a few times. I really haven't seen it. I just think if the Knicks are going to win, they're going to have to come out and take it. Like, they can't just rely on the fact that they're talented, right? They're going to have to come out and take it. So good game tonight. Hopefully tomorrow I'm back talking about a win. Until next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?
Dope Soul.